Hello neighbors, it's Brad here at eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the TecNiq SteelHead LED floodlight with 6 diodes, available in black aluminum as well as white aluminum. So these work lights are 1900 lumens, so they output quite a bit of light, and having that flood pattern, you're going to be able to create a large lighted area. So it's a great entertainment spot outside your camper. You can really spread that wide, have a bunch of people in here, and you're not going to have that focus spot beam as some of the other lights will be. Now, there are spotlights available, and those are going to be great for focusing on a specific spot, but these are going to be awesome for creating a lighted area for people to hang out in. Now, these are sold individually, but they do work well as a pair. So if you are putting these up on your truck or camper, you might want to pick up a pair, and you're going to be able to get a super wide pattern with both floods shining in different directions. With all this light, it doesn't matter if the sun is setting. We can continue work or play with having full illumination with whatever we're doing. So looking closer at the light itself, you're going to see these 6 diodes are in protected glass here that still allows for that light to really penetrate through, and it's also in conjunction with this aluminum housing here that's a nice black powder coat finish. So it's going to hold up over time, especially being in the elements, which brings up another good point. This is waterproof, so once you mount it on your vehicle, you don't have to worry about this breaking down over time just because it gets wet. It can be in the rain, it's not going to cause this to fail. It also has an integrated heat sink molded into the housing, which is nice to kind of dissipate some of that heat. It is LED, so it doesn't get terribly hot, but it does create a little bit of warmth. Now, going along with durability, it has a military grade circuit board inside, as well as that thermal protection. So over time, it's not going to overheat, and it's not going to jostle loose, causing loose connections inside of the light itself. Now the light comes in a little bit wider than 6 inches here. It's going to also be 2 inches tall by 3 inches deep. So it's relatively compact for as much light as it outputs. Now, as far as installation goes, it's pretty simple in the fact that you have this pedestal style mount here, which is going to allow for all those different angles so you can get that custom fit to where you want that light to be. And you can mount it directly to your application, whether it be your headache bar or your front bumper, whatever it may be, or you can pick up a nice bracket here to mount to whatever you want to. So as far as installation, it's very easy. 2 wires, we're going to hook it up, and I'm going to actually show you how to do that right now. To begin your install, you're going to want to find a place to tie into power and ground. Now, this particular cable has a distribution panel that has a switch already into it, so we're going to be using this. But if you don't have a distribution panel, there's plenty of switches available here, and that's going to allow you to turn that on and off and cut that power whenever you don't want those lights to be on. But you are going to need to tie into that power of your battery as well as the negative to get these to work. Now, we already have our switch installed, but if you were to wire up your own switch, here's an idea of kind of how it's going to look. You're going to have your 2 wires coming from your battery, your positive and negative, and those are simply going to tie into the same spade connector as your wiring that's going to go to the light itself. And really your switch is just a disconnect. Doing this is going to allow that power to actually create a full circuit, and when you close that off, it's going to shut it off here. So pretty easy. So if you need to wire up your switch, here's a nice diagram on how to do that. Then from your switch, you're going to want to run a positive and negative duplex wire to wherever your mounting location be. So on our camper, we're actually putting it on the back here on our Rhino rack. If you have a truck, maybe you're putting it on your headache bar or your front push bar, whatever it may be. So make sure that you have enough wire to be able to run there. And if you need to pick some up, we actually have some here at eTrailer. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do is determine how you want to mount your light. And here we actually have a heavy duty bracket specifically for the Rhino rack that goes in the track here, which is really nice. Now, you may not have this identical rack, which there's plenty of other options available for a mounting bracket, and really all you need to do is make sure that this is actually run through and clamped on. You can see I've actually added a washer here just for a little bit of extra bite. So if you were mounting it on to a solid surface, maybe the roof here, you could actually just drill down, run that through, and make sure that that tightens up. This is a carriage bolt style up top on the bolt, so that's nice. It's going to hold it in place as we tighten it down. So on the back side, you're going to see we have 2 wires coming off here, so we're just going to match our corresponding wires Black is going to be our positive, white is going to be our ground. Now we're going to be using spade connectors just because we're going to be test fitting quite a few lights here. It's going to make for a quick and easy disconnect to put the next light on. But if you're routing this and it's going to live outside the vehicle, or any of the wiring is going to be outside the vehicle, I highly suggest picking up some heat shrink butt connectors. And these are really nice because once you actually crimp these down, you can take a heat gun, these are going to cinch around, creating a watertight seal, so that way your connections aren't going to get corroded or get brittle over time. These are going to hold these in place really nicely. And then your next step is going to be running some wire loom or something to keep these wires protected, just for an added clean look. It's kind of up to you. If you can tuck these wires into something to hide it, that's going to be great, but you're going to want to make sure that they are tucked away so things don't catch them and they stay protected. Now once you have your wires connected, really all you need to do is turn the power on to the actual camper or the vehicle, hit your switch, and then also adjust where you want this to be. Now, it's going to be pretty simple here. You can see that it's going to be able to pivot 360 degrees as well as rotate a bunch of different angles. So really getting it dialed in to where you're going to be using it. So, you know, if you're hanging outside your camper and you want this to kind of flood out where you're going to be hanging out, that's no problem. You just simply aim your light beams and then just tighten these up, and then you'll have it fixed exactly where you want it. And that was a look and installation of the TecNiq SteelHead LED floodlight, available in black aluminum as well as white aluminum.